All right, hello guys. This is my health behavior change presentation. The behavior that I chose was to get a consistent sleep schedule, at least 8 hours a night. I didn't want to do anything below that. Um, Hopefully, it was between 8 and 9, but I thought 8 hours was a good starting point. So just a little like background information on kind of this whole reason why I wanted to do this behavior. Um, I always really had a bad time getting to sleep, and I had a really hard time, staying asleep as well. Um, it was staying up all night. It was being on like my phone. I would be out either working or just with my friends. I never really, got to bed at a reasonable time, which ultimately led me to, um, sleeping all day and like sleeping my days away and, not being able to have that healthy, consistent sleep that I need. Um, I am a high level athlete. It's my reason actually coming to Green Bay as I got a scholarship to play for the soccer team. So sleep is definitely a huge, part of being a healthy, active athlete and being able to perform at your top, you know, thing. Um, you really need a good amount of sleep. Um, they say, it's like up there with eating as well. Sleep and eating is like two really big things on being able to perform at the peak of your ability. And it really showed me in my years at Green Bay, my 2 years at Green Bay, that without sleep, I can't perform at, the levels that I do when I do have sleep. And I think that goes for like anything. And I know people can back me up on that, when it's like, oh, I didn't get enough sleep last night. Your brain and your body is just is a lot slower. Um, and it really took a toll on me. So I really wanted to get it in handy. And luckily, when I got this scholarship, and obviously, um, you know, as I mentioned, I was working, so I had an overnight job before coming to school. So that just made, I mean, my sleep just way worse. Um, and it was okay for the time being, but it really just did take a huge toll on me, and I knew that I wasn't playing my best soccer and stuff, and I really wanted to be on my top game when I come to school. So being at Green Bay helped me a lot, as in I was in a steady routine, having to wake up every day at the same time, super early, going practicing, going to school, eating, and then coming back, doing another session, and then getting a good night's rest. However, like during this time, I noticed I'd be taking naps and stuff every day, so it would still be pretty hard for me to sleep at night. But I knew, you know, what I was in for and all that. So I didn't really have much of a really hold or grasp on my sleeping. I think between 6 to 9 hours I was getting. So it wasn't too bad. Definitely not as bad as it has been and what it has been in the past like 3 months. Thankfully, this project actually helped a lot. Very glad I did this. So yeah, it was after my last season, um, this fall season, that I fell back into my old ways, and that's why I thought this project would be perfect to get back into those ways of having that constant sleep and good health behavior, um, and just being able to be at my tip top, self on and off the field. Um, so yeah, the SMART goals, in which uh, was used, was, my first was specific, and my goal was to, record at least 8 hours of sleep, nothing less. And this was the week of July 10th to the 17th, so the 7 days. Measurable. I measured my sleep by using my Apple Watch to record my sleeping. I also used my phone. I use my phone, like iPhone Notepad, the notes that we get, and I use that, and I just put down the hours that I thought that I had, because I knew that when I would go to sleep, I knew that I wouldn't fall asleep right away. So I would probably put like 10 to 15 minutes, of like kind of like downtime where I just like sit there with my eyes closed, and then over time then I would fall asleep, and then I would kind of like judge that and write down the time that I fell asleep, and then the time that I woke up, and then also again my Apple Watch um, was also tracking my sleep, by my heart rate. And there's this app that I used called Pziz, and it records your sleep, and it actually went onto my Apple Watch too, so it helped a lot as well because the Apple Watch had a more uh, you know idea from being able to track my heart rate and all that stuff. So that helped out a lot as well. Action based, the action that I took was to make sure that I set alarms throughout the day that reminded me that I needed to be in bed by a certain time. I also set reminders on my watch as well, and like little alarms, that would tell me how many more hours I had in the day until I had to be home to sleep. I also had another alarm, well, like kind of like, yeah, a little alarm that would tell me how many hours until I had to be awake. Therefore, like before I went to bed, I would see like, oh, like 9 hours and 30 seconds, or 9 hours and 30 minutes, or something like that. So that's how long I would have, and I would want to at least have 9 hours when I'm in bed. That way, if I can't go to sleep, if it's really hard for me to sleep, I have an hour to still like, really try and calm myself down. So my goal was always to be asleep for 11 and wake up around like 8:30, like 9-ish, So, if it's 8 hours, 8 hours and 30 minutes, 9 hours, something like that, I knew that that's perfect. That was great. And yeah, I thought that was a good set goal for the start anyway. Um, Next is a realistic. Uh, since I know I have trouble sleeping, I made sure to set a lot alarms. I knew that when I was at Green Bay, I took a lot of naps, so it made it harder to actually get to sleep at night. But this time, I knew that if I did need to take a nap, it wouldn't be, the 3 hour naps that I would take. It would be like, 40 to an hour, because those are like the quick power naps that can actually, help you and actually give you energy. So yeah, that was uh, that was helpful as well. Time based, I was determined to have my sleep schedule down and consistent by the 17th of July, and then, like I said, I started on the 10th of July. Like I said before, I track my progress through my Apple Watch and the app that's shown there, Pieces, and I wrote down again on my phone, and both of these really helped. The Apple Watch really helped. I actually just got a new device that actually tracks everything. It's not an Apple Watch, but it's more for athletes. Tracks your heart rate, obviously, tracks your sleep. It gives you the recovery you have. It gives you the calories you can intake, how fast you're running, what calories you're burning when you're walking, what you're doing all through the day. So, I'm really, following through on this whole project thing. So this is the graph that I got. Um, this is kind of how it came, and as you can see, it started off slow. I wasn't getting 8 hours, but over time, I think I really started to settle down in that 8 hour mark, or a little bit above 8 hours. Um, but like I said, in some of those days, it was really hard to wake up. Um, and I still managed to get those 8 hours. And even though I had a good amount of sleep in some of those days, I still like wanted to take a nap so bad, and it was so hard. As you can see in the barriers here, like it was just super hard to really get up some days, and I think a lot of people, can vouch that some days are harder than others. Um, so yeah, that was one big barrier. And also I noticed like I would stay out pretty late as well because I'd be with my friends, or I'd be playing soccer or something like that, and it's just a lot harder to kind of to calm down from that, or I'd be watching a movie or something and kind of just like lose track of time. You know, even though like I had those alarms set, I would still like press like, okay, yeah, I get it, I get it, I get it, but then it would kind of lose track of time, and but I made sure that if it wasn't 11, it was definitely 12, and I made sure of that. And if it was anything after that, then I would just know that I would have to, you know, suck it up the next day, be tired. If it's really bad, then I would probably try and take a little quick nap to help me out. Um, but yeah, as you can see throughout the barriers, day one, two, three, four, five through seven, um, it's kind of like the same barrier that was kind of like, and I noticed now, being over 7 days, I'm kind of getting out of those barriers, and, not being so tired and having that really, and still having this consistent sleep schedule, which is great. So, yeah. Now the application, the trans theoretical theory. Um, like I said, like I've done this before, and I think my body definitely has some muscle memory, if that's the proper use for sleeping. Just memory, I guess I could say, of my sleeping. So I knew that I was, further from contemplation, and it was between preparation and action. But I think preparation, because I actually went back into that, you know, sleep schedule where it just wasn't good and just sleeping all day and stuff. So it definitely did set me back all the way there. However, like now I know that I'm in the action phase and I'm trying to get to maintenance, but I still obviously got a little bit more longer to go until then, and I'm excited and hopeful that that will happen. So I'm really hopeful, and I hope that I can get to termination, because this would help me out like so much, long term, not just short term, obviously, because of that. Now, the discussion, overall, it was a great experience. I'm so glad I did it. I've made a lot more progress with what I'm doing within day to day. I feel more fresh. I feel a lot more alive when I'm getting consistent sleep. I have, I feel okay when I wake up. I don't just want to, just go right back to bed and, sleep all day. Like I actually have like motivation and actually real energy. Of course I had those days where it was really hard to go to bed, but, you know, you live, you learn, and you keep going. And I use this kind of motivation to keep going. So it, it was definitely a really big help, short term and stuff. And I know that this will help me out long term too. So I'm excited to do that. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this project. I thought that it gave me a new kind of way of looking at things, that if I really put my mind to something, then for sure I will achieve it. And obviously now I achieved it, and I'm proud of myself, and I hope I can keep going and really make this a consistent thing, where it's kind of just like, oh, like, I got to be better this time. So, I'm not going to go out and stuff like that. So that was kind of like a thing that I found that was a little bit difficult for me, trouble saying no, and like knowing that I have to sleep and stuff. So, but I still made sure that I had proper sleep, and, if I didn't make the hour mark, then I would make sure to, get in at least like maybe a little bit more sleep the next night, or if I'm still too tired, like I said, maybe get like a 40-minute nap. But I really try to avoid naps because I know that those are deadly. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed making it. And yeah, thank you for listening.